Part 98. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 971. Mu Lozong also had a gloomy expression. With his strength as a powerful person in the little golden god realm, if he wants to take action, he can naturally ensure that Xiaoxian is safe and sound. Only in front of Menyan and Lei Wan. Before the competition is over, it is a very shameful thing to directly take action to protect one's disciples. However, this is not the main reason. The main reason is that Mu Lozong noticed that Xiaoxian was not too worried in the face of Shwekinglan's dragon claw attack. Instead, there was a smile on his lips. He seemed totally unfazed by the attack. This was what interested him, and he could roughly tell that Xiaoxian was indeed a very calm person. If you encounter trouble that you can't solve by yourself, most of them will take the initiative to avoid it. Therefore, he also looked at Xiaoxian with interest, wanting to see how he dealt with his opponent's attack. Shwekinglan's face was also ashen. He didn't expect that at this moment, Xiaoxian would not dodge his attack. Doesn't this look down on him? Holding tightly in hand, the claw suddenly gathered a huge force and went straight to grab Xiaoxian's head, intending to kill the latter. Seeing that Xiaoxian didn't dodge, there was a bit of a sinister smile on his face. But, when he touched Xiaoxian's body, the smile on his face suddenly solidified. Only then did he realize that his hand was suddenly empty, and Xiaoxian's body was just a shadow. This made him feel a cold sweat on his back. Subsequently, look back quickly. But he saw a long sword with chaotic power heading straight for his neck. On this long sword, Shwekinglan felt a threat to his life, which shocked him, and he quickly shouted to Mu Shaokong, "Brother Shaokong, don't take action yet. Oh, you can't actually take him down." Mu Shaokong also noticed Shwekinglan's move just now. He originally thought, with Shwekinglan's fighting ability after transforming into a dragon, he should be able to defeat Xiaoxian easily. Who knows? It actually allowed Xiaoxian to escape smoothly. He even couldn't believe that the latter had the ability to resist. After hearing Shwekinglan's request for help, Mu Shaokong was even more surprised. He also knew that the way of chaos practiced by Xiaoxian was indeed a relatively powerful way. But Xiaoxian is only a one-star Kangshen realm. Could it be that with such strength, Shwekinglan could still ask for help? Mu Shaokong did not dare to neglect, and quickly took out a golden elixir from the space magic weapon and swallowed it directly. Then his skinny body suddenly shone with golden light. The whole person is several times taller, like a god of war bathed in golden light. Golden light fist. Mu Shaokong also saw it. Shwekinglan's embarrassed look was definitely not an act, indicating that he was really in a lot of trouble. That being the case, he really couldn't be too relaxed. Xiaoxian glanced out of the corner of his eye and saw Mu Shaokong's attack. A sneer appeared on his lips. Most in front of others. He was not too polite. A blast of sword energy knocked Mu Shaokong back a few steps. The holy sword of chaos continued to stab Shwekinglan's neck. In the path of chaos, it contains life and death, one thought of life, one thought of death. Although, the Qinglong Wei that Shwekinglan swallowed was extremely powerful, with amazing defense and attack power. But this is just physical strength. If faced with life and death, the Qinglong bloodline will also feel the fear from the soul. Shwekinglan was frightened and involuntarily took a few steps back, trying to avoid Xiaoxian's attack. But, since being promoted to the Blue God realm, Xiaoxian also has his own understanding of the way of chaos. The Heavenly Wolf Sword has an understanding of the chaos of heaven and earth, and its power is astonishing. Shwekinglan's next response methods have already been calculated almost as soon as he takes action. Back off. Naturally, it was also in Xiao Xian's prediction. Without even thinking about it, Xiao Xian continued to bully him. The path of chaos in the heavenly wolf sword was unforgiving and continued to attack him. This time, Schwekinglen was really a little scared. Faced with the chaos holy sword, which was threatening his life, he understood that he could not retreat. The only way to deal with it was to confront Xiao Xian head-on. Figure this out. He also concentrated his energy and stimulated all the blue dragon blood in his body, and his whole body was covered with a layer of green dragon armor. A punch was thrown out. Go straight to the sword in Xiao Xian's hand. At this moment, being able to seriously injure Schwekinglen with the help of the 1-star level of Kangshen realm is enough to prove his talent and strength. He was also extremely shocked. Unexpectedly. Only then did he realize that it seemed that things were not that simple. A force slashed down and instantly cut off his 2 completely dragon-shaped arms. Although Malozong rarely participates in the battles between sects in Wanlong City, if someone wants to harm the elite disciples of their Chamber of Commerce. Naturally, he also wanted to use the most violent means to deal with the other party. Even if he fell down, both sides would suffer. Facing Xiao Xian on the fighting platform, Lei Wan's face from Qinglei Palace changed color instantly. He understood Schwekinglen's strength very well. After completely transforming into a dragon, his strength would be enough to reach 4 stars in the Blue God realm. Coupled with the various methods of their Qinglei Palace. Ahem. The reason is simple. Show mercy. The severe pain made Schwekinglen realize that his 2 arms had been cut off at once. Schwekinglen's combat effectiveness should be firmly at 4 stars in the Blue God realm. He even forgot to take the initiative to retreat. At this moment, Malao Zonfang frowned slightly, and his face became a little gloomy. Could it be that your Qinglei Palace wants to give up this competition? Lei Wan no longer dared to show any contempt. On the contrary, when dealing with such a young disciple, he didn't even have the intention to take action, but only carefully protected Schwekinglen. Wanjin Chamber of Commerce will definitely pay great attention to him. Now, this is not a loss. It was sprayed directly from the severed arm. But when the Holy Sword of Chaos was cut down, once, Schwekinglen also tried the power of his fists. After completely transforming into a dragon, his power could break gold and crack stones. Even the Suan Pin Lingbao divine weapon, he could crush with one punch. Seeing Schwekinglen injured and defeated, Guardian Lei, is it a little out of order for you to take action? The green blood is like a fountain. Now I see Xiao Xian coming fiercely. He will definitely take action. Even so, he could not believe that his arms were cut off so easily. For such a situation, he also felt a little unsure. That being the case. No. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 972. We, Qinglei Palace, admit defeat. Although Lei Wan's face was ugly. But at this moment, he had to admit that the strongest disciple they trained, Schwekinglen, had been defeated. And he was defeated by a 1-star cultivator in the Blue God realm. This also means their Qinglei Palace has lost the qualification to compete for the Purple Chi spiritual mine. If they don't admit defeat, they will become the target of simultaneous attacks from both the City Lord's Mansion and the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce in Wanlong City. In this case, if Qinglei Palace gives up, the only competition between the City Lord's Mansion and our Wanjin Chamber of Commerce will be. Mu Lao turned his head and smiled. The question was thrown to the City Lord's Palace. Menyan and Mu Shaokong both had a look of solemnity on their faces. Before participating in this Purple Spirit Mine battle, they took it for granted that the biggest opponent this time should be Schwekinglen of Qinglei Palace. Who knows? Is this guy so unlucky? On the battlefield, they were all shocked to be defeated by Xiao Xian in such a devastating way. In fact, Mu Shaokong didn't even have a chance to help. At the same time, to their shock, Xiao Xian's fighting power far exceeded his expectations. At this moment, no one else needs to say that their Qinglei Palace has clearly lost the qualification to compete for the Purple Chi Spirit Mine. Snort. Then let's try it? I don't believe you can be so awesome. Mu Shaokong also looked unhappy. After swallowing the golden elixir, his power became stronger. At this moment, Xue Qinglin, even in his prime, was standing in front of him. He doesn't necessarily have much fear. In his opinion, Xue Qinglin's defeat was entirely due to his arrogance. That was why he failed so miserably in the end. On the contrary, Mu Shaokong believes that both he and Xue Qinglin are cultivators of the 3 stars of Kangshen realm, as long as they stand firm and fight steadily. Use dragon transformation power or elixir power. Strengthen yourself step by step. In the end, defeating Xiao Xian couldn't be easier. So now, Mu Shaokong is still confident in himself. At this moment, seeing Xiao Xian use thunderous means to deal with Xue Qinglin, the 2 disciples of Qinglei Palace were so frightened that they jumped off the fighting platform. Among the 3 disciples of the city lord's mansion, in addition to Mu Shaokong, the other 2 people were also worried. Although both of them are 3 stars in the Kangshen realm, in terms of strength, they are naturally inferior to Xue Qinglin and Mu Shaokong. Now, even a strong man like Xue Qinglin was killed instantly. When they face Xiao Xian, wouldn't the outcome be even worse? The 2 of them looked at each other with a little fear in their hearts. At this moment, 2 golden pills suddenly appeared in front of them, which were given by Mu Shaokong. Saw this elixir. The 2 of them couldn't help but be stunned, and then their eyes showed a passionate expression. This elixir. It's called Jinchinj Body Strengthening Pill. Within the Blue God realm, if swallowed, the strength can be forcibly increased by 1 star. They are now only 3 stars in the Blue God realm. But if they swallow this elixir, their realm can be instantly upgraded to 4 stars in the Blue God realm. This is an amazing improvement. You know, when you practice a discipline, the higher you go, the more difficult it becomes. It would take at least a few years for an ordinary 3-star Kang God realm to be promoted to a 4-star Kang God realm. Even if there is a chance, it is also extremely difficult. Now, Mu Shaokong was actually able to come up with such a precious elixir. His purpose is also very obvious, which is to use the power of the elixir to enhance the strength of the 2 disciples around him. Cause greater and more trouble to Xiao Xian. Not good. It's actually the Jinchinj Body Strengthening Pill. This Mu Shaokong is a bit too shameless. I saw the pills in the hands of these 2 disciples. Zhang Fulong's expression changed instantly. Although he was not strong enough, he still had some sense. At this moment, he could see the pill in Mu Shaokong's hand at a glance. He didn't expect that Mu Shaokong could be so shameless. After all, before the competition for the Purple Chi Spirit Mine, the 3 parties had already agreed that only disciples below 3 stars in the Blue God realm could participate on the battlefield. As an alchemist himself, Mu Shaokong took pills to participate in battles, which was not in line with the rules. But seeing as he is an alchemist, no one said anything. Who knew that this guy would be so shameless now and take the initiative to distribute pills to the disciples around him? Let them also break through to 3 stars in the Blue God realm. Isn't this just plain bullying? Snort. Little tricks. Naturally, Malao Chongfeng also saw such a scene. Regarding this, he was a little annoyed in his heart and couldn't help but said to Meng Yan, "Meng City Master, is your disciple going too far in doing this?" Saw Mu Shaokong's operation. Menjian's face was also a little embarrassed. She also understood that it was a bit bad for Mu Shaokong to do this. Malao worships. In this Purple Spirit Mine battle, no matter the outcome, your Wanjin Chamber of Commerce will have at least 1/3 of the mineral veins. Under such circumstances, naturally, he was full of hatred for Xiaoxian. If you can really win the battle. Interesting. At the same time, he wished that Mu Shaokong would use all his strength to fight Xiaoxian in a lose-lose situation. Even though Xiaoxian has seen too many disciples who have been arrogant and domineering in front of him over the years. Mu Shaokong also looked at Xiaoxian coldly. Your Wanjin Chamber of Commerce can also use elixirs? Who made you unprepared? Vitality is damaged. Instead, Xiaoxian looked at Mu Shaokong with interest. As an alchemist, don't you even understand this? If you rely on elixirs and secret techniques in the future, you can also restore Xue Qinglan's arm, but he will still be severely injured. Malao Zonfeng also nodded slightly. However, Mu Lao had another thought in his heart. He really wanted to see how Xiaoxian would deal with 3 4-star Kengshen realm experts at the same time. Lei Wan naturally vented all his anger on Xiaoxian. Don't try. Hear this. In this way, the young generation of Qinglei Palace. Who knows? There was a hint of contempt in the corner of his mouth. You are right, the power of the elixir is only auxiliary after all, but 3 4-stars of the Blue God realm, this is a real improvement in the realm. Do you think that you, with 1 star of the Blue God realm, even with the help of secret techniques, can we still be defeated? It won't be much worse than the 2 sects. Lei Wan smiled sadly from the side. Basically, it's not that good. It's normal to have your hands and feet broken off, and your cultivation base completely destroyed. Regarding this result, he also understood that it was Menjian's initiative to give in. He was specifically targeting Xiaoxian. For Wanjin Chamber of Commerce, it is definitely a huge booster. But the final result? I have heard that these forces from the outside cannot be fully used by oneself. Just now, his disciple Xue Qinglan was defeated by Xiaoxian and had 2 arms cut off. Since Mu Shaokong took the initiative to seek death. For people like Mu Shaokong, it is clear. He doesn't mind using some means to let this guy know that the sky is high and the sky is high. He. I think what Mu Shaokong did is right. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 973. Humph. This kid is really brave. At this moment, you still dare not to retreat. Could it be that you think there is no one in our city lord's mansion? After swallowing Mu Shaokong's Jinchin Chuang body pill, the 2 disciples of the city lord's mansion also became more confident. They looked at each other and started to mock Xiaoxian. This scene. Naturally, he couldn't escape Xiaoxian's eyes. Only. What he is curious about now is that this guy Mu Shaokong doesn't seem like a good person, but he can be so generous at this time. Take out 2 precious elixirs. Directly help the disciples around you improve their strength. Isn't this a bit strange? Xiaoxian. Are you scared? When Mu Shaokong saw Xiaoxian staying where he was, motionless, a hint of contempt appeared on his lips. In response, Xiaoxian just shook his head slightly. He didn't take his words to heart at all. He just looked at Mu Shaokong coldly and said, if you are not convinced, you can come over now and let me see how capable you are. Say it. Although it is not beyond everyone's expectations. However, it also means that Xiaoxian has completely declared war on Mu Shaokong. To others, this may not seem like a big deal, but anyone with a discerning eye can see it. Although there was Qing Lingyun standing next to Xiaoxian. However, if we talk about Qing Lingyun's fighting ability, I'm afraid it's not even as good as the Qinglei Palace disciples who were just kicked out. Although it is said that it will not become a drag on Xiaoxian's side. but the help to Xiaoxian was actually extremely limited. To put it bluntly, it was just Xiaoxian fighting 1 against 3. But even under such circumstances, Xiaoxian dared to take the initiative to be rude to the people in the city lord's mansion. This kind of courage is definitely not something ordinary people can have. Thinking of this, the people next to him still looked in awe of Xiaoxian. Ha ha ha. Good. I have to say, Xiaoxian, you are very brave to say such a thing at this time. Mu Xiaokong was so angry. Originally, before participating in this competition, he didn't even recognize Xiaoxian. He only had some respect for this man after seeing Xiaoxian defeat Xue Qinglin. Who knew this guy could be so ungrateful, so disrespectful to him? Doesn't this mean looking down on him? How could this not annoy him? He. Regarding these words of Mu Xiaokong, Xiaoxian didn't even bother to talk nonsense to him, he just sneered, and the abyss of chaos behind him became deeper and deeper. War. Then let's fight? He knew very well that for Chaos Abyss, the number of opponents was not a problem. As long as the path of chaos in him moves quickly, no matter how much power he has, he can turn it into his own. It can be said that the stronger the enemy, the stronger he is. Now, although the opponent he faced was not weak, but from Mu Xiaokong to the 2 disciples around him, their strength has barely improved. It's not a serious 4-star Kengshen realm. That kind of people. He really didn't have that much to worry about. Thinking of this, Xiaoxian's power in his hands directly bloomed the chaos abyss to the extreme. To this, the faces of Mu Xiaokong and others also changed slightly. Although they have not attacked Xiaoxian yet, through the battle between Xiaoxian and Xue Qinglin just now, it's obvious. Xiaoxian's strength is definitely not as simple as it appears on the surface. If they underestimate this person, I'm afraid Xue Qinglin will be a lesson to them. At this moment, no one needs to say more. Their faces were also full of solemn expressions. Obviously, I am somewhat worried about what will happen next. What are you still doing? You two, who are 4 stars in the Blue God realm, are you still afraid of a 1 star in the Blue God realm? Isn't it embarrassing? Mu Xiaokong was a little out of sorts. For so long, he was always considered a talented disciple in Wanglong City. Who knew that he would be so ignored today? This is for him. It's unacceptable. At this moment, the 2 disciples in the city lord's mansion also felt dissatisfied. They were not fools. They could see it all. It was obvious that Mu Xiaokong himself did not dare to challenge Xiaoxian. That's why they were asked to come forward. Doesn't this just make them the scapegoats? Before, although Xue Qinglin was embarrassed when he was defeated, but at least they took the initiative to fight, were defeated, and finally failed. How could someone like Mu Xiaokong not dare to take the initiative to challenge, but instead let the disciples around him act as scapegoats? Isn't this a little too irresponsible? But the hands that hold others are short. Just now, both of them took Mu Xiaokong's Jinjinj strengthening pill, and even if they wanted to say something, they couldn't open their mouths. The 2 looked at each other. After condensing the power of the avenue in his hand, it rushed straight towards Xiaoxian's body. Under great power, even they themselves were a little hesitant and seemed a little worried that if this move continued, Xiaoxian would die directly. After all, no matter Wanjin Chamber of Commerce or Qinglei Palace, they are considered to be the most famous big forces and sects in Wanglong City. If during the competition, a disciple of their own sect dies, the upper-level elders would definitely not turn a blind eye. The Wanjin Chamber of Commerce's Malao enshrinement is still here. No matter how courageous they were, they would not dare to do anything to Xiaoxian. But obviously, their worries are completely unnecessary. 2 powerful forces emerged from the hands of the 2 people. A flash of red. A pure white. One is the path of hot magma. One is the cold ice way. Representing heat and cold, the power of the natural way came straight to attack Xiaoxian with strong power. Faced with the power of these two people, Xiaoxian even sneered, and then the chaotic abyss on his body was revealed. The two attacks were swept directly into the abyss. The attack of two people, just like a stone falling into the sea, disappeared without making a sound. This scene also surprised the two of them, and they couldn't believe their eyes. After devouring Jinqing's Zhuangti pill, they clearly felt that their strength had greatly increased, reaching the level of 4 stars in the Blue God realm. After the Kanshen realm, each star's strength improvement is a huge improvement to their strength. Who knows? Such a powerful and majestic power of the avenue was actually accepted by Xiaoxian so lightly. It was as if it hadn't even appeared just now. This. How can this be? The two disciples in the city lord's mansion were shocked. As a party involved, they knew very well how powerful the two moves just now were. Even a true 3-star in the Kanshen realm might not be able to easily resolve such an attack. Who knew that Xiaoxian could handle it so easily? It's so easy. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 974. Easy. Eliminated the attacks of the two city lords' mansion disciples. Xiaoxian also looked at Mu Shaokong with great interest, wanting to see how this so-called genius disciple of the city lord's mansion would perform. He wanted to believe it. Although this guy is an alchemist, he can represent the city lord's palace and stand on the fighting platform. I think he must have some skills. I just don't know. How capable is this guy? Is it worth his attention? Sure enough, there are some tricks, but the way of chaos is powerful, but it doesn't work. Seeing Xiaoxian neutralize the attacks of the two disciples, Mu Shaokong's face also became more solemn. He understood that given the current situation, it did not seem to be easy to defeat Xiaoxian. All things spiritual treasure. Out. Get rid of these troubles for me. Just as everyone thinks. When Mu Shaokong must have been at his wit's end, he unexpectedly found a colorful and exquisite pagoda. On top of the pagoda, exuding a faint glow. Under the illumination of these rays of light, the chaotic power around him was expelled. The golden light all over his body also increased a bit. All things spiritual treasure. This, I didn't expect that the city lord's mansion would value Mu Shaokong so much, even giving him a spiritual treasure of this level. After hearing these words, Qing Lingyun next to him was also secretly surprised. Do you know this thing? Xiaoxian also turned around and asked, it looks good, what is this thing used for? This is a treasure of the city lord's mansion. Having this thing on your body can offset the erosion of the body by any external force, and can also strengthen the power of the avenue and the power of the soul in one's body. Qing Lingyun introduced, therefore, you should have some restraint on your way of chaos. Hear this. Xiaoxian's mouth turned a little more contemptuous. He understands very well. After all, Mu Shaokong was from the city lord's mansion and an elite disciple there. It was normal for him to have these spiritual treasures in his hands. As for now, seeing Qing Lingyun's shocked look, Xiaoxian also roughly understood that the spiritual treasure Mu Shaokong took out must be of a high grade. But for this, Xiaoxian didn't feel much. He was somewhat interested, since he couldn't use the power of the chaos way to directly control Mu Shaokong. Then use the power of physical skills. Completely suppress this guy. Take out the serious sword again. Xiaoxian no longer showed mercy, and swung the heavenly wolf sword with the way of chaos, slashing towards Mu Shaokong's head. Under such power, Mu Shaokong also had a look of pride on his face. With the physical strengthening of the Jinqing body strengthening pill and the spiritual treasure in his body, his current strength has been greatly improved. Even now, his strength is no less than that of an ordinary 5-star King Shen realm. Moreover, after having the spiritual treasure to protect him, he will not be afraid of Xiao Xian's way of chaos. With such strength, defeating Xiao Xian does not seem impossible. A white steel fractured fan appeared. Mu Shaokong also flew up, holding a folding fan under his fluttering white clothes, and fought with Xiao Xian. A sword and a fan. When fighting, both of them can feel the forced oppression from each other. However, Xiao Xian's mentality towards the sense of oppression is much stronger than Mu Shaokong's. After all, he himself is only 1 star in the Blue God realm. There is a certain level gap between him and Mu Shaokong. Facing such an opponent, it is normal to feel oppressed. But Mu Shaokong was different. He has 2 assistants with 4 stars in the Kang God realm, and he also uses various means of protection. But even under such circumstances, he still felt a lot of pressure on Xiao Xian, which was something he didn't want to see. On the contrary, under his original plan, with so much help, he should be able to defeat Xiao Xian with overwhelming force. Who knew that instead of retreating at this time, Xiao Xian would actually attack him? Isn't it obvious that you don't take him seriously? For something like this, he can't accept it? It seems. You don't understand the power of my Wendao. Mu Shaokong's face turned livid and he roared angrily, "Word! A poem? Hear these 4 words." Xiao Xian's face was a little more curious. For such a long time, he has never heard that there is such a great avenue on the Great Avenue continent. This was actually a bit surprising to him. Now, faced with such a situation, he really wanted to see how powerful this so-called Wendao was. Figure this out. The serious sword in Xiao Xian's hand was unsheathed again. On the fighting platform, following Mu Shaokong's words, a large wave of scribes holding pens and ink suddenly appeared around them. On the contrary, he could see that although Mu Shaokong's battle was not small, it only relied on the soul in his body. A defensive vortex instantly formed in front of him. Every plant and tree. In fact, after coming to Daodao continent, he does have some skills in these avenues. Xiao Xian couldn't help but be secretly shocked. On the Dao continent, tens of millions of Dao exist, and as long as you have enough opportunities, you can understand them. Is it possible that one of the literati in the world can be summoned? This article is really terrifyingly powerful. If he has a profound understanding of Wen's Hideo, then his threat is indeed not small, but if he is like a divine soul. He knew. As he lightly scratched the ink in his hand, calligraphy and paintings appeared out of thin air. Upon careful observation, these calligraphy and paintings actually exuded a heavy chilling air. Now, although Mu Shaokong looks like a weak scribe, even Xiao Xian has to admit it. The brushes in the hands of these scribes instantly turned into spears, heading straight for Xiao Xian and Qing Lingyun behind him. Qing Lingyun turned pale with fright. If that's the case, I'm afraid it's not that simple. While talking, although she is considered a relatively powerful person among the 3 stars in the Kangshen realm, she has never seen such a situation. Not much fear. How could it be so powerful? But that's just surprise. 1 flower and 1 leaf. If his soul is powerful. See these spears all over the sky. In fact, when Mu Shaokong first summoned these spears, he was actually surprised for a moment. Everyone can become a god or a Taoist. Facing the spears all over the sky, Xiao Xian just smiled and summoned the power of the soul nonchalantly. All these spears were swallowed up in it. These scribes sat cross-legged. Moreover, as long as the understanding is deep, want to win. And what Xiao Xian is good at is understanding the soul. The majestic and powerful soul. Wen Yi. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not fo. Chapter 975. In front of the huge wall of souls. The spears of countless scribes were blocked before they even touched Xiaoxian. This scene also left Qing Lingyuan stunned. She could see it too. Xiaoxian actually used the power of his soul to resist other people's attacks. For this, she couldn't believe it either. To know. Generally, for cultivators at the early level of the Blue God realm, the power of the soul is only at the lower level of the Void realm, and they can only reach the third level of the Blue God realm. It is possible to break through the reality. It is already remarkable that someone like Mu Shaokong can use the power of his soul to summon the power of scholars from all over the world. For others, it is definitely very difficult to solve this situation. Who knows? Now Xiaoxian can actually use such a method to use the power of the soul to harden steel. Do you really think that his soul power can crush Mu Shaokong? Qing Lingyuan couldn't help but take a breath of air. He took a deep look at Xiaoxian. When Xiaoxian first showed his prominence, she just thought that Xiaoxian was, at best, a Kangshen realm star with relatively strong fighting ability, nothing more. Even if Xiaoxian defeated Xueqinglin. She also didn't have much recognition for Xiaoxian, thinking that he just won by luck, nothing more. But it's different now. Xiaoxian has obviously seen it. Mu Shaokong had used the power of the world's literati, and now he was actually using his own soul power to actively resist. This was really beyond her expectation. Xiaoxian, you are going to use this method to fight against Mu Shaokong, Qing Lingyuan couldn't help but said, do you know that Mu Shaokong's soul is in reality? Reality, Xiaoxian turned his head. Yes, and 3 years ago, when he was only a second star in the Blue God realm, his soul power had already reached the real level. Qing Lingyuan said quickly, in the past 3 years, his soul power must have improved further. If you want to defeat him, you must reach a higher level. Hearing Qing Lingyuan's words, Xiaoxian also nodded. He knew that what Qing Lingyuan said was also true. For someone like Mu Shaokong, it is indeed not an easy task to defeat his opponent. On the other hand, she also gave Xiaoxian good words and hoped that he would not do something excessive because of impulse. But for Xiaoxian, this is not a problem at all. Although it is said that his soul power was promoted to the real level a little later than Mu Shaokong, he had just upgraded his soul power to the middle level of reality. This is definitely higher than Mu Shaokong. It can be said. Now his soul power can completely crush Mu Shaokong without any problems. Not to mention that he has any spiritual treasures or scribe bonuses, even if he does, they are still below the gap between primary and intermediate levels. It is also difficult for ordinary people to obtain. On that note, Xiaoxian is still confident. Don't worry. You will see right away how Mu Shaokong was easily defeated by me. Xiaoxian said casually. After saying that, before Qing Lingyuan could react, the wall of souls in front of him slowly changed and turned into a colorful spear. Colorful spear. Split the soul. Xiaoxian sneered. The colorful spear condensed by the divine soul slowly became a divine soul weapon exuding a fierce and ancient aura. Under Xiaoxian's control, this spear was like a deadly soul weapon, flying directly towards Mu Shaokong. This scene. Mu Shaokong was also stunned. He couldn't believe that Xiaoxian, a one-star Kangshen realm, could survive unharmed under the siege of his words. Even stranger. Xiaoxian actually knows the combat skill of soul attack. On this soul spear, Mu Shaokong could vaguely feel a dangerous aura. This made him somewhat uneasy. You two losers. Whatever you are doing standing still, come to me. Kill this guy. Mu Shaokong said with anger on his face, you two guys, come together and destroy him. There are 2 disciples beside Mu Shaokong. The 2 of them looked somewhat dissatisfied at this moment. Although the 2 of them did benefit from Mu Shaokong, at the same time, as disciples of the city lord's mansion, it was natural for them to help the city lord's mansion compete. But even so, now anyone with a discerning eye can see that Xiao Xian is extremely powerful. Even Xue Qinglan and Mu Shaokong are no longer opponents. But Mu Shaokong's words actually made them take the initiative to challenge Xiao Xian? Isn't this just asking them to die? What's more, all kinds of spiritual treasure weapons are on his body. Mu Shaokong asked two disciples to charge into battle? Isn't this a bit irresponsible? But at this moment, there is Menjian standing behind the city lord's palace. Even if they don't want to work hard, they can't. Think of this. The two people looked at each other, but they could only bite the bullet and rush towards Xiao Xian with all their strength. However, at this moment something unexpected happened. Before the two of them rushed to Xiao Xian's side, they felt a sinking feeling in their minds and a drowsy feeling. He looked up again and saw Xiao Xian. His eyes gradually became blurred, as if he hadn't slept for several days. His head dropped and he fell directly to the ground. This is Xiao Xian's mercy. Otherwise, with the power of his mid-level soul, if he wanted to deal with these two disciples, he could kill them instantly. Seeing two 4-star Kang Shen realm disciples being dealt with so easily, Mu Shaokong was about to explode. He simply couldn't imagine that Xiao Xian could use such decisive methods at this time. Even for the average person, it's definitely not that easy to deal with him. Even now, Mu Shaokong has clearly felt that the pressure Xiao Xian put on him is too great. As long as Xiao Xian is willing, you can even kill him at any time. Especially the beautiful-looking colorful spear, the pressure of the divine soul coming from it made him even dare not speak out. At last, he could only raise his hands dejectedly. Actively surrender. How? You gave up? Only then did Xiao Xian control the colorful spear and asked with a stern face. He also knows. People like Mu Shaokong have many tricks and no one knows how many tricks he has. Go back on your word. For such a person, it is simply a normal thing. Just in case. Xiao Xian decided to let him take the initiative to say surrender. You are quite courageous. That's it? Today, even if I admit defeat. Mu Shaokong gritted his teeth. When things came to this, he could only say reluctantly, we don't want the purple chi spirit mine anymore. In fact, what he said was somewhat redundant. In terms of status, he is just an ordinary disciple. Even if he has some status in the city lord's palace, he is definitely not as high as Men Yan. Even if you have to give up the purple spirit mine. He shouldn't have said this. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 976. Hee. If I had said this earlier, there would be no need for me to put in so much effort. Xiao Xian didn't care. It's like, what happened just now was so small. However, the more relaxed he appeared, the angrier Mu Shaokong became. He couldn't figure it out. Why did he lose to Xiao Xian, and moreover, he lost in such a shameful way? But it also allowed the three major forces in Wanglong City to see clearly. Menjian and Lewin never expected that. The ownership of the Purple Chi spiritual mine was actually decided by a boy with 1 star in the Blue God realm. Moreover, this kid still defeated Xue Qinglan and Mu Shaokong in front of so many people? Doesn't this just slap them in the face? Figure this out. These people also looked at Xiao Xian with complicated eyes, with jealousy, annoyance, and curiosity in their eyes. Now, it was Malao Zonfang who stood up. Faced with the threats from so many people, he still said directly, today's competition, I think everyone can see clearly. We, the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce, will not be polite to this purple spirit mine. Say it. Everyone in the city lord's mansion and Qinglei palace fell silent. They felt a little unconvinced in their hearts, but facing the strength Xiao Xian showed just now, they had to admire him. Indeed. For such results, even if they are dissatisfied, there is nothing they can do. In the end, Menjian and Lewin looked at each other and left helplessly. See them leaving. The Wanjin Chamber of Commerce and others were naturally overjoyed and celebrated one after another, and also cast grateful glances at Xiao Xian. They all know. The reason why the city lord's mansion and Qinglei palace were able to be driven away so easily was definitely due to Xiao Xian. Zhang Fulong was also full of gratitude. Brother Xiao Xian, today's events are all thanks to you. This is what I should do. Since I promised you, I will naturally go all out. Xiao Xian looked indifferent. It's just that it's easy to conquer a country, but it's difficult to defend a country. Judging from the intentions of the two sects, I'm afraid they won't give up. Hear this. Zhang Fulong also nodded. Yes, the purple Qi Ling mine is of great importance, and I also feel that they will not let it go. However, fortunately we have Mu Lao worshipping us, so I guess they won't mess around. Indeed so. Regarding Zhang Fulong's words, Xiao Xian also had no other opinions. He knew that with a powerful man like Malao Zonfeng in the little gold god realm sitting in charge, the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce would also have the greatest confidence. Regardless of the city lord's mansion or the Qinglei palace. If they don't have two or more little gold god realm powerhouses appearing at the same time, it will be difficult for them to deal with Malao Chongfeng. Fulong. The purple Qi spiritual mine has only been partially explored before. For the past few days, you should ignore other things and concentrate on managing the spiritual mine. Mu Lao worshipped and said. Okay, old worshipper, do you have anything else to tell me? Zhang Fulong nodded naturally. And that's it? This time, little friend Xiao Xian has been of great help to our Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. You must not treat him badly. Mu Lozong smiled at Xiao Xian. Hear this. Xiao Xian was a little flattered. In fact, part of the reason why he agreed to Zhang Fulong to help deal with Xue Qinglin and Mu Shaokong was friendship, and part of the reason was also for the purple spirit mine. Now, he is worshipped by Mu Lao and says so. He was also a little embarrassed. A piece of cake. Then I also want to ask brother Xiao Xian for something. Mu Lozong said to Xiao Xian with a smile, I don't know, little brother, do you have the idea of staying in our Wanjin Chamber of Commerce and being a steward? After hearing this, Xiao Xian was also stunned. He really didn't expect that because of this competition, Mu Lozong would actually try to recruit him. For so long. In fact, he had never thought about joining the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. For him, the current goal is nothing more than to enter the upper level of the Eastern Wilderness continent and explore the real secrets on the Great Dao continent. Only in this way. Only then would he be able to find the key to truly solving the catastrophes of Tianxian continent and Primordial continent. Perhaps joining the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce is a good choice? How? Brother Xiao Xian, as long as you join the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce, you will become the number 2 person in our Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. Mu Lao said, even Zhang Fulong is below your status. If Xiao Xian was just an accident before. So now, he was completely shocked. He never expected that Mu Lao Zonfang would show such sincerity to him. The second person from Wanjin Chamber of Commerce? This condition is definitely not low. You must know that the strength of Wanjin Chamber of Commerce is among the top 3 in the entire Wanglong city. And Xiao Xian also noticed it just now. Among the group of elders enshrined by Mu Lao, there are also 5 or 6 strong men of 7 or 8 stars in the Blue God realm. Although these people have not taken action, their strength is definitely not weak. It is definitely not that simple to deal with these people. In front of so many strong men. How could Malao Zonfeng give him the second position in the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce so easily? Isn't this a bit hasty? If you don't know that Mu Lao is not a bad person, Xiao Xian may even wonder if he is deliberately harming himself. Isn't this not appropriate? I am a newcomer to such a large chamber of commerce as the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. I'm afraid I won't be able to convince everyone. Xiao Xian shook his head. However, if I don't give up, I am willing to join the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. Good. As long as you nod and agree. You don't have to worry about other things, I will naturally make arrangements for you. Mu Lao worshipped directly. Speaking of which, Xiao Xian was really embarrassed. In fact, what he covets is really not the second position in Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. He just wants to find an opportunity to explore the high-level secrets of the Eastern Wilderness continent and find a way to save the two continents, that's all. Who knows? Mu Lozong was so polite. On the contrary, this made him a little more curious. I wonder, if I become a senior member of the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce, will I know more about the situation on Daodao continent? Think of this. Xiao Xian couldn't help but be curious. But just when he was about to ask a few more questions, Zhang Fulong ran over happily and said excitedly, "Old worshipper, Xiao Xian, we really made a fortune this time. This is not a mine, but a vein of minerals." "What? Or vein?" This time, both Malao Chongfeng and Xiao Xian's expressions changed slightly. "Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors." Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 977. To know. A purple spirit mine and a vein of purple spirit mineral, these are two completely different concepts. If it is a spiritual mine, the annual output is only tens of thousands of tons in full calculation. But if it is a vein of purple spirit ore, it is different. If several purple spirit ores are connected, the output can even reach hundreds of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands. These are two different concepts. That is to say, none of the three families knew the situation here before. If the City Lord's Palace and Qinglei Palace knew about it, this is a purple gas mineral vein, I'm afraid, they will definitely not choose to use such a naive method as a competition to decide the ownership of this place. It's a secret. Nobody but us at the top can know. Malao's response was very quick. With his rich experience, he knew that it would be extremely dangerous if other forces knew that there were purple gas veins here. Even if more people knew that there were purple gas veins here, I'm afraid it would arouse the covetousness of many desperados. This is not a good thing for the entire Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. Don't worry, old worshipper. Only the three of us know about this matter, not even the group of elders below. Zhang Fulong said quickly. Hearing this, Malao Zonfen nodded and continued, "However, since this is a mine, I will secretly explore it in the past few days to see the size and depth of this vein. As for you, don't make a public appearance recently, focus on recruiting mining workers, and try not to let the City Lord's Palace and Qinglei Palace notice any problems." Mu Lao worshipped and warned. In response, Zhang Fulong and Xiao Xian also looked at each other and nodded. Seeing Malao Zonfeng walking towards the mine vein alone, Xiao Xian also returned to the Chamber of Commerce with Zhang Fulong. Along the way, Zhang Fulong also briefly introduced the situation of the Chamber of Commerce to Xiao Xian. It turns out that the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce was founded by Zhang Fulong's father, Zhang Tishan, who was also a strong man at the level of the Little Golden God. And Malao Zonfeng is also Zhang Tishan's brother. The group of elders who obeyed Malao's orders was the team that Zhang Tishan pulled up at that time. As the son of Zhang Tishan, with the support of Mu Lao, Zhang Fulong could have taken over the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce as a matter of course and became the new president of the Chamber of Commerce. But over the years, since Malao went into retreat, Elder Long Quan and some elders from the Chamber of Commerce always made trouble for him, and even wanted to compete for the position of president of the Chamber of Commerce. Just now, after Xiao Xian's appearance, the trouble of Elder Long Quan was directly solved, so no one can threaten Zhang Fulong's position. Therefore, the relationship between Zhang Fulong and Xiao Xian is naturally getting closer and closer. For the current situation, Zhang Fulong is quite satisfied. From a certain point of view, he still hopes that Xiao Xian will become the second person in the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. In this way, the young master like him can feel more at ease. But it is undeniable. Although Mu Lozong supports Xiao Xian, the group of elders behind him may not necessarily support him. Xiao Xian's strength. After all, it is only one star in the Kengshen realm. Defeating Shueqinglan and Mu Shaokong is indeed an impressive record, but he wants to rely on these records to stand at the top of Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. It's not that simple. Regarding these introductions to Zhang Fulong, in fact, Xiao Xian himself has some confidence in his heart. After all, the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce is a very famous existence in Wanglong City. It is naturally not that easy for him to reach the top in one step. So-called. All beginnings are hard. Perhaps now, it is not that simple for Xiao Xian to become the second in command of Wanjin Chamber of Commerce, but if he takes it step by step, who can guarantee that? Can't he get this done? Thinking of this, he became much calmer. Returned to the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce room. Xiao Xian sorted out his mood. I am planning to recover some of the souls consumed today. But there was one more person at the door. After a brief moment of feeling with his soul, he knew who the person at the door was. It was Qing Lingyun. For this woman, what he felt was neither good nor bad. After all, Qing Lingyun was also his teammate against other sect members at that time. Even if he didn't make any effort, he didn't betray him at the critical moment like Gu Leng. Therefore, Xiao Xian did not have much bad impression of her. Only, he roughly felt. At this time, if this woman found him, there was probably nothing good going on. If you have anything to do, just come in and talk. It's not like everyone doesn't know each other. But seeing Qing Lingyun hesitating at the door, Xiao Xian couldn't bear it and said directly. It was directly exposed by Xiao Xian. Qing Lingyun was obviously a little surprised, but then he pushed the door open carefully, with a bit of restraint on his face. At this moment, Xiao Suanke looked at Qing Lingyun carefully. He discovered that she was actually a beautiful woman, with white skin, tall figure, and black hair hanging on her shoulders. The snow-white skirt matches the slender thighs. Like a fairy. Such a woman, even if placed in the prosperous Wanglong city, would definitely be a beautiful woman. And from her previous performance, Xiao Xian could also see that her strength was not weak. Why did she take the initiative to come to him today? It is said that. Are you a doctor? Qing Lingyun hesitated for a moment and asked, if possible, can you give my master some treatment? After hearing this, Xiao Xian was also stunned. Ever since I got the golden prescription. Except for the first time he used it on Zhang Fulong, he had never used it before. Although I have some understanding of the 10,000 gold prescription. However, it has rarely been tested. After hearing Qing Lingyun's words, he really wanted to try it and see the magical effect of 10,000 gold prescription. What's the disease? Xiao Xian asked directly. My master was bitten by the ice soul python. There is a cold air in his body that cannot be driven away. I wonder, can you help to treat it? Qing Lingyun said cautiously, if possible, I will try my best to give you some. Compensated. It's easy to talk about compensation. However, the ice soul python seems to be a third-grade monster. Being attacked by such a monster, what is your master's strength like? Xiao Xian was a little confused. He remembers. Monsters like the ice soul python. They usually hide in deep lakes and deep waters. Despite their powerful strength, they rarely appear in front of ordinary practitioners. How did they meet? Interesting. Could it be that you took the initiative to hunt the ice soul python and were bitten? Xiao Xian asked a little doubtfully, since you have the guts to hunt the ice soul python, your strength should be at the 7th or 8th level of the blue god realm, right? Qing Lingyun nodded, indeed, my master's strength is at the level of the little golden god. After hearing this, Xiao Xian suddenly had a black line on his face. Damn it! When is it so common for cultivators of the little golden god realm? Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 978. How could this, little golden god level healer find me? Xiao Xian couldn't help but said, I'm only a 1-star Kangshen realm, do you really trust me so much? He carries something as precious as $1 million prescription. He understood that it was the right way to keep his medical skills from being known to as many people as possible. No one knows. In the Wanglong city of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, is there any hidden master? The previous Butterfly Sword Immortal and Qingyang Protector. Coupled with the recent appearances of Meng Yan, Lei Wan, and others, these are people who are not weak in strength and have great backgrounds. Once they know that Xiao Xian has $1 million prescription, I'm afraid that they will naturally use all kinds of methods to fight for him. This will naturally not be a good thing for him. At the moment, he only used Wanjin prescription on Zhang Fulong of Wanjin Chamber of Commerce. Unexpectedly, despite this, Qing Lingyun would know about this matter, which really surprised him. It seems that in Wanglong City, all the strengths of all parties are not free. How do you know I'm a doctor? Xiao Xian couldn't help but ask. Before, I heard that you removed the Dark Devil's aura from young Master Fulong, so I know something about it, Qing Lingyun said. Even if you have done these things, do you still think that I, a mere Kangshen realm, can help heal practitioners in the little golden god realm? Xiao Xian also said. In fact, even if he had $1 million prescription, he could not guarantee 100% that it would be able to treat a strong man in the little golden god realm. Qing Lingyun was quite confident about this. Indeed, but when you played against Mu Shaokong and Xue Qinglan before, no one believed you could win. Qing Lingyun's eyes burned, so I think you are a person who can create miracles. Miracle? It's not that easy to create. Xiao Xian shook his head slightly. They just saw him performing miracles and his unparalleled splendor. But who can know? In order to obtain the 10,000 gold prescription, he went through many dangers and hardships, and was even almost swallowed by the giant beast of heavenly flame. But I believe you. After hearing Xiao Xian's words, Qing Lingyun thought that Xiao Xian was going to refuse, so he quickly continued, you can definitely heal my master's injury. All right. I can try. Xiao Xian's impression of Qing Lingyun was pretty good. Thinking that it would take some time to mine the Ziqi Ling mine, he simply nodded and agreed. Very good. Then, when do you have time? My master's injury is very serious. Qing Lingyun asked carefully, it would be best if we could go there early. Hear this. Xiao Xian was a little curious instead. He didn't know what kind of benefits someone like Qing Lingyun could bring him in the end. Even though he doesn't care about getting any real benefit. But he is not a tool that helps others treat people for free. Qing Lingyun was bright-eyed, and after seeing Xiao Xian's expression, he said directly, if you can cure my master promises to pass on half of the swordsmanship in the sect to you. Fencing. Or half a set. After hearing this, Xiao Xian couldn't help being stunned. To be honest, since he came to Daodao continent, he has also acquired a lot of swordsmanship. From Gongsun Heiswaji sword technique, the pure Yang sword technique given by the system, and the holy sword of chaos derived from the Tao of chaos. These are all swordsmanships of high level. Even though he is indeed a swordsman, and he does have a desire for swordsmanship and Taoism, but it is only half a skill, so it is really not worth his while, right? It is said that this is a fragment of heaven-level swordsmanship. What? Originally, Xiao Xian wanted to complain. But when he heard Qing Lingyun's words, he was a little shocked. Heaven-level swordsmanship? Is this true? After coming to Dao continent, he had only heard about this level of Taoism, but had never seen it before. Even the system. I just gave him some earth-level Taoism. He also once asked why the system didn't give him some cool stuff, such as heaven-level skills, heaven-level Taoist skills, heaven-level spiritual treasures and so on. But the system answers every time. It all made him a little helpless. According to the system, his strength was a bit weak at that time, and even if he obtained the heaven-level Taoist skills, he would not be able to use them. Now, he can also be considered a strong man in the Kengshen realm. If you get heaven-level Taoism, it doesn't seem like you can't use it, right? Regarding this point, Xiao Xian couldn't help but feel a little excited. So, if I can heal your master's injury, can I get the remaining scroll of heaven-level Taoism? Good. My master promised this. Qing Lingyun said seriously. Enter the courtyard. Is it possible? In this regard, Xiao Xian didn't say anything. He understood that treating wounds was very simple, but the difficult thing was to remove the cold energy from the ice python. Xiao Xian was also a little confused about this. Didn't it mean that the place where Qing Lingyun was located was a cultivator sect? Such a place. Xiao Xian discovered something unusual here. Qing Lingyun introduced, therefore, I ask Mr. Xiao Xian to keep today's matter a secret. As soon as you enter the door, Qing Lingyun took the initiative to find Xiao Xian. It turned out that this place turned out to be an unusual place, a different kind of paradise. In response, Xiao Xian also nodded. It is rumored that this was created by a real powerful person in the Golden God realm. The next day, just get rid of the cold air. This also made Xiao Xian couldn't help but sigh secretly. I didn't expect that there would be such a paradise here. Is this the land of your Lingyun sect? Then he felt grateful to Xiao Xian again. He took him to a quiet courtyard in Wanglong City. If there is no special magic guidance, even the ordinary little Golden God realm will not be able to detect it. Their sect is in the courtyard? Hearing this, Xiao Xian nodded and said, in that case, I will take the time to go there tomorrow and take a look at the condition of the wound. Very magical. Although he was confused, Xiao Xian still walked in. In Wanglong City, there are indeed many powerful people. Even in an ordinary courtyard, there will be different paradises. It is equivalent to entering this paradise. Under such circumstances, Xiao Xian did not dare to think too much, but he could vaguely feel that there might be more in Wanglong City. He also sighed secretly. The gate of the courtyard is the place where the secret realm opens. Yes. Qing Lingyun next to him suddenly looked happy, as if he had received such great benefits. Only then can the wound truly heal. How did you end up in such a beautiful little courtyard? Say it. In the future, he will probably have to be even more cautious in Wanglong City. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 979. Approach the courtyard. Xiao Xian also noticed that the space in this secret realm was larger and wider than he imagined. A towering snow-capped mountain. Following the path, he and Qing Lingyun walked toward the mountain. There were green grass and large trees along the way. There are even some monster sounds. This simply made Xiaoxian a little unbelievable. After all, such a place is located in the bustling city of Wanglong City, where people come and go, not just ordinary people, but also practitioners who are not weak in strength. You can make these people not notice it at all. There needs to be enough blocking means. Even a strong person in the little golden god realm. It is extremely difficult to do this, and I don't know how this Lingyuan sect does it. Watch along the way. Soon, Xiaoxian and Qing Lingyuan arrived at the door of Lingyuan sect. On the two huge white stone pillars, the three characters of Lingyuan sect are carved with flying dragons and phoenixes. Obviously, this is where the Lingyuan sect is located. Junior sister Lingyuan, this is. Just when Xiaoxian was wondering why the Lingyuan sect was so quiet, a woman in a red dress suddenly appeared in front of him. The woman in the red dress has a delicate face, a graceful figure, and long black hair on her head. It seems, even if his appearance is compared with Qing Lingyuan, he is still inferior. Senior sister Qing, this is young master Xiaoxian. I found him from the Wanjin Chamber of Commerce to treat Master Qing Lingyuan said respectfully. Doctor, how come you are 1 star in the blue god realm? Qing Menjiun couldn't help but frown. She and Master Qing Lingyuan came from the same sect and were both disciples of Menji Sword Immortal. They were also looking for a doctor who could treat their master recently. But it was never found. Now seeing Xiaoxian brought by Qing Lingyuan, she couldn't help but frown slightly. A mere 1-star cultivator in the blue god realm. Why can she cure her master's disease? However, in front of the two of them, Qing Menjiun didn't say much, just nodded. Since you are a doctor, let's come in. Thank you, senior sister. Qing Lingyuan nodded quickly. Xiaoxian, on the other hand, didn't care at all. He just followed behind silently, as if he didn't care about these things at all. For this, Qing Menjiun's face naturally furrowed his brows slightly. She saw that although Xiaoxian was quite handsome, his strength was indeed only 1 star in the Kangshen realm. Such level of strength. It's not that powerful, and it's not even ranked high in Wanglong City. Physician. This profession is almost at the same level as an alchemist on the Great Dao continent. Generally, doctors with excellent medical skills will have a deep understanding of medical skills. That is to say, as long as you are a doctor with good medical skills, your level of greatness will not be low. Now, although the Xiaoxian looks tall and handsome, he does not have a strong enough Dao realm, which probably proves that his medical skills are only average. But why did junior sister bring this person here? Could it be that his junior sister thinks he looks handsome? Moved everyone's heart. So, make an exception? If this was the case, she would have to step forward and stop this good junior sister. Among Lingyuan sect, Qing Lingyuan has the highest talent. Even their master, Menji Sword Immortal, favors her and thinks she is the most likely person to become a female sword immortal in the future. Moreover, Qing Lingyuan also reached 3 stars in the blue god realm at a young age. Such a genius. You absolutely can't be with a dude who's only good looking. Qing Menjiun frowned slightly. Senior sister, are you still on the bed, master? Qing Lingyuan didn't have as many thoughts as Qing Menjiun and just asked. Yes, but. Qing Menjiun frowned slightly and said, you, Lin Xiao, have brought an elder from the Wanglong City medicine family. You can wait a while before going. Hear this. Qing Lingyuan's face suddenly felt a little embarrassed. She also didn't expect that the pharmacist in Wanglong City would actually treat her master. Although the pharmacists in Wanglong City are slightly weaker than the established forces such as Wanjin Chamber of Commerce and Qinglei Palace in terms of strength. But what they are better at is medical treatment. Therefore, generally, when someone in a sect is injured and difficult to recover, they will take the initiative to seek help from a pharmacist. But pharmacists have always been arrogant. If they don't have enough money, they won't even show up. Although this arrogant posture is a bit unethical, but according to legend, they have some connection with Venerable Mo Yang. No one dared to say anything. On that note, the Yao clan is a kind of existence in Wanglong City that makes others dissatisfied, but they are helpless. At this moment, no one needs to say more. Qing Lingyuan also knew that at this time, he still had to wait until the people from the Yao clan had finished reading, before perhaps letting Xiaoxian in. For these, Xiaoxian, on the other hand, didn't care. Although he is interested in the half-volume heaven-level swordsmanship, these are things that happen by chance and cannot be forced. If Menji Sword Immortal insists on his own way. If you don't believe that he is a one-star Kang Shen realm, there is nothing you can do about it. Simply, he didn't care much. He followed Qing Lingyuan to find a pavilion and looked at the scenery leisurely. It was Qing Lingyuan herself. There was a bit of guilt on his face, and he seemed a little embarrassed to talk to him. It doesn't have to be like this. I am originally a one-star member of the Blue God realm. It is normal for your senior sister and master not to trust me. Xiaoxian saw Qing Lingyuan's embarrassment. As for other things, it has nothing to do with you. Although Xiaoxian said so, Qing Lingyuan didn't have much to say, so he just started to introduce the specific situation of their sect. Turn out to be. There are all sword cultivators in their sect. However, what is special is that they are all female sword cultivators. This is also the rule set by her master's master. They don't know the specific reason. But in the Lingyuan sect, as long as the sword cultivator reaches the Blue God realm, he will get a sword secret. Under the guidance of this sword art, everyone is a cultivator who relies on their own abilities. If they can break through to the little golden god realm, he has the qualifications to comprehend half a volume of heavenly swordsmanship. At this time, among the entire Lingyuan sect, only Menji Sword Immortal is qualified to comprehend. Hear these traditions. Xiaoxian also nodded secretly. Before, Zhang Fulong and Mu Lao asked him to keep a low profile, which was really good. In this Wanglong city, it's really crouching tiger, hidden dragon. He randomly moved to a place, and a strong person in the realm of the little golden god appeared in this place, which was really surprising. But it's normal. In a place like Wanglong City, a crouching tiger, hidden dragon, within a sect, only strong men with the realm of the little golden god can gain a foothold here. But even a strong person of this level would be injured by the eye soul python. This actually aroused Xiaoxian's curiosity. It stands to reason that a strong man of this level would not be able to leave the sect unless he has special needs. So what is the reason for Menji Sword Immortal? Want to take the initiative to explore the secrets? Even attacked by monsters like the eye soul python. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 980. I'm still a little curious. According to your master's strength, the little golden god realm is considered to be very prestigious even in Wanglong City. Why was he attacked by the eye soul python? Xiaoxian asked casually. Hear the question. Qing Lingyunmai was obviously stunned, as if she had something unspeakable. In this regard, Xiaoxian did not force him, he just smiled slightly and said, "It's okay, I'm just asking casually. If it's not convenient to say it, that's all. Speaking of which, this matter is really a bit strange. A month ago, our sect learned the news that there is a deep pool in a deep mountain on the outskirts of Wanglong City, and there is a century-old eye soul python in the pool. In order to seize the demonic pill of the eye soul python, my master invited a few old friends to go hunting together. He didn't want to miss the hunt in the end. Several old friends died and she was seriously injured." Qing Lingyuan told the story. Under normal circumstances, the 100-year-old eye soul python is indeed very powerful, but with help from the little golden god realm, wouldn't it be so miserable and even seriously injured? Xiao Xian frowned slightly. He felt that something was wrong with this matter. Like her master, a strong person who can cultivate to the level of the little golden god is certainly not weak in his own strength. It was impossible not to know the strength of the Ice Soul Python. There is probably something wrong with the team being able to suffer such damage despite being well prepared. Think of this. Xiao Xian couldn't help but ask suspiciously, could it be that someone among them deliberately framed your master? After hearing this, Qing Lingyun's face was obviously more solemn. But then, she shook her head and explained, although it is possible, there is no evidence in the sect, so naturally there is nothing more to say. That's nothing to worry about. If someone is really setting you up deliberately, they will jump out and threaten you. Xiao Xian said, otherwise, wouldn't they have set this trap in vain? Although this sounds unpleasant to say. But Qing Lingyun also understood that what Xiao Xian said was correct. But if this is really the case, Lingyun sect will really have to face a big crisis. Say it. Qing Lingyun's face next to her also became more solemn. Originally, Menji Sword Immortal was injured, which was a big blow to their sect, but the Yao clan took the initiative to help at this time. It can be felt that some things do not seem to be that simple. You don't have to worry. The boat will straighten out when it reaches the bridge. In this world, there is no difficulty that cannot be solved. Xiao Xian said directly. Although this is an ordinary statement. But Qing Lingyun felt that there was an inexplicable aura on Xiao Xian's body when he said these words. She couldn't help but want to be convinced. This was something she hadn't felt in anyone else, not even her master. Good. I also believe that you are indeed a person who can create miracles. Qing Lingyun nodded firmly. At this time, in the palace in the distance, several people suddenly walked out, but these people were surrounded by female disciples of Lingyun sect holding long swords. Seeing these senior fellow apprentices, they felt like they were facing a formidable enemy. Qing Lingyun also frowned and walked over quickly, looking at the surrounded people. She found these people were all wearing white alchemist's robes, with the word medicine written on their chests. Obviously they are all members of the Wang Glongqinjiao clan. Among these people, the leader was a young man with a fair face and an arrogant look. The medicine is pungent. Our Lingyun sect is also very polite to you. I didn't expect you to be so shameless and insult my teacher with such arrogant words. Today, you. Qing Menjiun, who was wearing a red dress, had a cold face. As for the leading disciple of the medicine clan, although he was surrounded by a group of female sword fairies, his face was still calm and calm. It seemed that he didn't take the people of Lingyun sect seriously at all. He just smiled softly, with contemptuous eyes, and said, Sisters of the Sword Immortal, do you know who I am, Yao Xian? The young master of the Yao clan in Wanglong City. Do you think that if I die here today, our medicine family will just let it go? When the time comes, your entire sect will be buried with you. You. Hear these words. Qing Menjiun's expression changed obviously. She knew very well that although Yao Xian's words didn't sound good, they were undeniably true. This guy is the young master of the medicine clan. At this time, let them go. This scene. Their master, Menji Sword Immortal, is really in danger. Xiao Xian was also stunned. No wonder Yaoxin is so persistent and wants to marry your master. It turns out that your master is such a beautiful fairy. Qing Lingyun was gnashing his teeth with hatred, wishing he could take action right now and kill Yao Xian and others directly. The head of his own sect married a young master from another family. Lingyun sect's #1 fighting force, Fairy Menji, was also injured. What pharmacists are good at is refining medicine and treating people. As for Menji Jiangxian's injuries, perhaps only the herbalist behind Yaoxin could treat them. Not good at fighting with others. This woman was lightly painted with powder, and her face was as pure and flawless as the bright moon in the sky. Hearing Xiao Xian's praise, I, Yaoxin, came today just to tell you. If you want to do something, it seems that others cannot change it, even their Lingyun sect will find it difficult. She looks like a female fairy falling from the sky, a perfect woman. This is definitely a heavy blow to their section at this time. It seems that they really can't let Yaoxin do anything. Now, this is your master. If you want our medicine family to take action to save your master, you must marry her to me. Don't worry, our Yao family has a great business and we won't treat you sword immortals badly. Tall and slender figure. Ha ha ha. Pair it with a looming white gauze skirt. As long as they are willing, they can now directly kill these people who have insulted their sect. Therefore, Qing Menjiun's eyes widened and his eyebrows stood upright, and he led a group of female disciples to surround Yao Xian and others. However, if they really agree to Yao family's shameless conditions, it will definitely be a great shame and humiliation for Lingyun sect. The reason is simple. After laughing loudly, he swaggered and wanted to leave. It also made everyone in Lingyun sect turn pale with anger, but no one took the initiative to stop him. If you offend someone from the Yao family, enough. At the door of the sect, a beautiful woman in a white dress walked out. Isn't this equivalent to admitting that you are inferior? Yaoxin was in front of everyone.